What is going on, guys? Welcome to this Python tutorial series number 1. So this is just going to be an introduction to the series, which means it is just going to be a short video. So without further ado, let's start. Today, I'm going to be talking about syntax, comment, and print function in Python. So I know these things are basic in Python, but we need to learn them in order for us to write our code properly, avoid getting errors, track parts of our code easily, and deepen our knowledge about Python in general. Okay, so let's start off with syntax. So when we talk about syntax, it is about the rules that we need to follow in a certain programming language. In Python, we use syntax on functions or methods. So you're going to be seeing me say functions and methods alternatively all throughout the series because they are basically just the same. So when we use syntax on functions, it is about on how we write functions properly, what to write inside the functions. Um, is it okay if we write something inside of that function? So that kind of stuff. Okay. So the second one is what we call indentation. And I think this is the most important syntax in Python. All right. So I'm going to tell you when you should indent and when you should never indent in Python. Okay. So you should indent when you are dealing with conditional statements and iterative statements. So don't worry, guys. I'm not going to be talking about these topics in a much deeper sense in this video because these topics are far more advanced for this video to be tackled. I'm just giving them as examples here for now. All right, let's move on. So you should never indent when you are dealing with functions or the methods. So let me give you an example in order for you to understand this better. All right, let's say I'm going to print hello world in the terminal. So as you can see, you've encountered a print function here already, but I'm going to explain this function in a much deeper sense later on in this video. So let's run this first and let's see what happens. As you can see, it gave us the correct output. All right. But what if I add an indentation here before the print function? Let's run this again. Let's see what happens. As you can see, it threw us an indentation error. It says here an expected indent. So whenever you dealing when you're dealing with functions or methods in Python, you should never indent them. Okay? All right. So this time, let's say I have an if statement. So this is under the conditional statements, by the way. All right. So let's say if hello is equal to hello. All right. So after the colon, as you can see here, if I enter, we are obliged to add an indentation. Okay, why is that? So basically, this is how Python distinguishes the scope of this if statement. So in this case, the scope of our if statement here is we are going to print hello in the terminal. So we are going to print hello in the terminal if hello is equal to hello. So that is how it is. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now because I don't want to dive deeper in these topics because I'm going to be talking about a lot of them in preceding videos of this series. So make sure you check them out. All right. So the next topic is going to be comment. As you can see, I've already done some comments here. So the only thing you need to do in order for you to have a comment is you just add a number sign before whatever you want to comment out. Okay? So the purpose of this comment is to add a description to our code and also track our code easily. Okay? Let's say you are working on a large project with thousands of lines of codes. Okay? Inside of those lines of codes, you have like hundreds of identical algorithms. Okay, let's say algorithm for sorting, algorithm for processing. Okay, and in between of these, you have your codes. Okay, All right. So you're gonna be having a hard time if you don't, or you will not use a comment for this. So this is how you distinguish or track parts of our code easily. Okay, so this is how you utilize comments in Python. All right. Okay, so let's proceed to the last topic, which is going to be the print function. Okay, so print function lets you check, test, and know what the output is of what we are doing in our code so far. So this is like a debugging tool in a programming language. So this is a powerful function, guys. So let's say we are going to print, and the syntax for this is you put the print word and you add an open and close parentheses. Inside of this, this is going to be called a parameter. And inside a parameter, if you put something inside a parameter, it is going to be called an argument. And our argument is going to be a string, and we are going to print hello world. Okay? So this data type is called string. So every data type that you could ever imagine in Python, you could put it inside the print function. All right. The second one, we can also print a number, which we call integer. And we can also print a number with decimal places. All right. This is what we call a float. Okay, so this is already an introduction to the data types of Python. So as you can see here, if we run this, you see what happens. As you can see, it really gave us the correct outputs, what we specified in the print functions that we did inside of this code. So that is how you use print function in Python. So a little recap, or a little summary for this tutorial. We learned about syntax. It is about the rules that we need to follow in a certain programming language. We also learned comment. It is to add a description and track parts of our code easily. And lastly, the print function, which checks, tests, and know what the output is of what we did in our code so far. So that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something from this, and see you guys next time.